It is, as I have said on several occasions in the past, like 2 weeks, they'll never, ever, ever, under any circumstances, be able to abandon it.
Supply chain, through trying to lower the cost, making sure that people could afford their groceries and their gas. But still, childcare became a big issue, housing, the cost of housing. So while I do believe that they made significant gains, there's no question immigration became an issue. But I'm not going to get into this, oh, the people are too damn woke. That wasn't an issue. What happened?
Yeah, it was.
I disagree with you.
I know, and that's why you're going to keep losing.
It's not just an accountability issue. It's not even really a reality issue. It's a combination of every issue that you can think of that's wrong with these people. Okay, guys, before we really and truly get to the meat of this video, I want to just go ahead and give you guys a bit of a heads up on this particular video here. Donna Brazile is definitely going to be the focus of what she says, and of course being confronted with all the lies and the BS from the past, I guess, 2 to 4 years. But also Neil deGrasse Tyson, who, for whatever reason, can't seem to get beyond the whole, well, you guys will figure it out here in a second. We got a lot to talk about in this video. Now, you guys heard that, and you probably thought to yourself, abandon what? Abandon the lie is what I mean. This past election cycle, you had a lot of issues, and I mean a lot of issues that were on the table. But of course, the main issues that people were thinking about were, number one, inflation and the economy, because the two go hand in hand. And of course, you guys are going to see after the first year, which of course I'm still going to be doing a much more thorough video on what I expect over the course of the next 4 years before I decide to switch over the content and start talking about other things that of course do in fact involve our everyday lives, of course warnings, stuff like that there. But of course, that was for the most part the top issue. Issue number two, of course, was immigration. The fact that the border was left wide open and so many people came across our border, and they're in these very, very blue cities, which of course will be a topic later on this week because we got to talk about the mayors who plan on stonewalling the deportations. Of course, Barack Obama deported more people than any other president in American history. We'll probably bring that up in that video as well, which will probably come out on Tuesday. And of course, these people forget that these were like the two main issues that people cared about. And of course, also foreign policy, foreign wars. But of course, these people will never really and truly abandon the abortion topic. They'll never really and truly abandon the woke topic. And then they'll turn right back around and tell you that they did not run on those two issues. Now, I want to go ahead and say this really quick, because this video right here is coming out at 12, and then I've got another video coming out at 7 o'clock tomorrow, and one sandwich in between, which of course is about the Twitch adpocalypse. But the reason why I'm doing this video here to start out Monday is because, as I've said before, Bill Maher is kind of sort of the one voice in the Democratic Party who's trying to get these people to come back towards the center, stop going to the whole wokeness stuff. He's like the one person who's trying to keep these people, or try to bring these people back to reality, even though a lot of this stuff was really the result of Bill Maher's secular takes. And of course, the audience that watches him believes everything that he says. And of course, he's obviously much more on the secular liberal side of the aisle. So he's kind of like one of the ears of the Democratic Party. In the second, or the video that comes out late in the evening, we're going to be talking a little bit about another person on the left who's kind of sort of like the other side of the coin when it comes to the end of the Democratic Party. That video right there will be about censorship and the demanding of censorship, so we'll get to that a little bit later, but I want to go ahead and focus on this one now. So Bill Maher, he had Neil deGrasse Tyson on the other night, and of course he had Donna Brazile on the other night, and of course the hilarity of, let's just say, people denying reality was sort of the theme of the evening. With that right there being said, also a bit of a heads up, there's also another bit from this video that will be included in the video that I have planned for Tuesday on MSDNC, because we're getting more and more details on that. So I need to prep for that video on Tuesday, but let us go ahead.
Scientific American, the magazine. I remember when it was around when I was
grew up with it, yeah.
Grew up with it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, their editor had to quit. You saw this.
Yeah, I heard about it because she expressed some opinions, right? Yeah.
Okay, right, sure, but it sure didn't sound scientific. It didn't sound like the person I would want to be running Scientific American.
Okay.
It was a rant on Twitter. Okay, I could read it to you. It's really ugly. You know, I apologize to younger voters that my Gen X is so full of fucking fascists. Okay, I'm not.
Okay, I'm not a gasket right there.
I'm not for.
All right. Yeah.
I'm not for canceling anybody on either side.
Yeah.
So but here's.
Yeah, if you're the editor of that magazine or you're somebody who works there and you call your clientele a bunch of fascists, I mean, or potential clientele a bunch of fascists, or everybody that you may have to serve at some point in time fascists, I mean, I don't see how the hell it helps your brand out. But I mean, this is the world we're living in where one side of the aisle just does not believe in accountability. So they just go ahead and call everybody fascist who disagrees with them. I'll talk about the scientific vlog here in a second, the scientific magazine. I'll talk about there in a second, but there's something I want to establish really quick before we go any further. Okay, now that last thing that Bill said, I will give him a little bit of credit there. He will defend free speech. I will give Bill credit on that, but I also remember Bill Maher basically making a living off attacking Christians and Christianity. Like I said, very, very secular person. It's one of the biggest reasons why his Democratic Party is in the situation that it is today. However, it's also in the situation that it is today largely because of people like, say, Neil deGrasse Tyson. Now, I want to say this right quick about Neil deGrasse Tyson. I don't want people to think that I'm just going to come up here and bury him. No. I'm just burying the thinking process, the thinking that this man has. He does have one very good take that I think should very, very well be watched and listened to, and that is his take on Columbus and finding America, bridging the gap between two worlds. It's actually a very, very good take that he has. Fight me on it in the comment section. We'll fight about Columbus all the hell you may want. But still, though, you would figure that people outside of that take there would probably just kick Neil deGrasse Tyson to the curb because he's supposedly the voice of reason when it comes to the topic of science. But as many of you may already know, Neil deGrasse Tyson has adopted rapid wokeness, so therefore his credibility is gone. There's even this part in the video that, or the segment that they did, I'm playing some of you guys here, the B-roll footage, where they literally argued. They argued about getting a second opinion. Now, I want to say this really quick. As somebody who's had a couple of operations this year, you would want to obviously get a second opinion. And the reason why you want to get a second opinion is because you want to confirm and double check and make sure that the issue that ails you is in fact the issue that's killing you or ails you. Also the same thing with treatment, stuff like that. Now in my case, it didn't really need a second opinion because it was pretty well cut and dry. You needed to get an operation on it. And of course, there's also other issues as well. And doctors are trying to find all kinds of different ways to try to treat that issue. Some of it, of course, includes self-treatment, which means get your ass up and go walk more than you normally do because you can create extra blood vessels when you walk. But still, though, the point is this right here. Second opinions are quite frankly common. I know I'm getting a little bit off the topic that these two were talking about, but this is the thinking that we're going with. Just do whatever the hell the government tells you to do. Is basically the mindset that Neil deGrasse Tyson has adopted. But let's continue.
I think is the scandal.
What?
This is in Scientific American.
Yeah.
Less than a year ago. Inequity between male and female athletes is the result not of inherent biological differences between the sexes, but of biases in how they are treated in sports. That's nuts. And it sure ain't scientific, and it's in Scientific American. And that's why the Democrats lost the election. It's true.
Bill, every 20 minutes on your platform, you come up with another reason why the Democrats lost.
No.
You already have the answer. They lost the election. So anything you say
That's
is
not
why
true.
they did it.
First of all, you don't watch this show, so you don't know that. I know you don't.
I got to kind of sort of get Bill's back here. The Democratic Party, one of the main reasons why it was that they got rejected so soundly was because of this adoption of pseudoscience, false science. That's one of the main reasons why it is that these people got rejected at the ballot box. Now, some people will say that it was an overnight phenomenon, but people slowly but surely have been rejecting it ever since it first came into play. And I'm sure you guys obviously heard Neil deGrasse Tyson bust out laughing and then say on your show you come up with a brand new reason to come up with why it was that the Democratic Party lost the election. This right here, by the way, will come back up when we get back to Donald Brazil because, once again, the issue always finds a way to not get tackled directly or even answered, even by one of their own voters and one of their own supporters. But the laughter, the smugness, this right here should tell you everything you need to know about the modern left. These people are in for a culture shock, and I mean one hell of a culture shock, when they see the culture actually begin to shift further and further and further to the right. More and more and more to my line of thinking. Those of you who watch the type of content, hit the like buttons, kind of thinking. More traditional thinking, more masculine thinking. But let's watch some more of this because it does get crazier, especially when we start getting much, much deeper into the topic of the sexes And of course, that topic of, let's just say, certain sexes trying to pretend to be a certain gender that then decide to try to invade another sex's sports. Let's get back to it.
It's okay. But you talk as if you do, and you fucking don't. And that's okay. Just don't bullshit me. That's the one thing people can't ever do on this show is bullshit me. And that's fine. But I don't say that. I have very good reasons. But engage with the idea here. What I'm asking is, Scientific American is saying, basically, that the reason why an WNBA team can't beat the Lakers is because of societal bias.
What you're saying is not Scientific American says that. An editor for Scientific American says that who no longer has the job. So don't indict a 170-year-old magazine because somebody...
Okay, this is called Scientific American, and they're printing something
because someone enters the cesspool that is social media and then participates in that exchange. So
why can't you
let's talk about science.
Why can't you just say this is not scientific and Scientific American should do better?
Well, does she still have her job?
No, not because of this. I said the scandal is not her tweet. The scandal,
because that was like a year ago, was it? Which one was a year ago?
I think a year ago, women still couldn't beat men in basketball or any other sport. And it wasn't because of society. You don't see a problem
By the way,
here?
long-distance swimming, women might actually have the advantage. You can look into that. Yeah.
Maybe long-distance swimming, yes. Okay.
Yeah, I've looked into it. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to file you under part of the problem.
Exactly. The problem here is that you can't exactly acknowledge the truth here, Neil. Of course, like I said before, Neil deGrasse Tyson has bought fully into this woke nonsense. He's bought completely into it. He's bought into a level of pseudoscience to the point where nobody views him as credible except those who are ideologically more in his camp. That's a problem that we're going to have going forward, especially when it comes to... I'm not going to get too much into this video because the next thing you know, I'm going to be talking about some stuff that's going to go completely off the deep end and possibly even get me removed. And I'm pretty sure you guys can kind of see where this is going. If the medical field goes this way, then obviously we're going to have a problem. But of course, Neil deGrasse Tyson would also, in the exact same exchange that he had with Bill Maher over the second... how do I say this? The second opinion, he would basically lose his freaking mind towards the end of the conversation, like you guys will see.
I'm thrilled that you don't ever have this happen in your life, but and I hope you never do. But trust me, most people at a certain point in their life will need a second opinion.
The second opinion, yes, but that's after you've been through 99 other. I'm trying to put credit back to doctors, where our life expectancy is 3 times what it was 150 years ago. And everyone before 150 years ago
but lower than the rest
organic. And half of them died before they were 35. Yeah, science matters.
Of course it does.
But sometimes you don't sound that way. That's what worries me.
Well, actually, you're the guy. You're the guy who doesn't understand why the NBA team can't beat the Lakers. So I don't know. You're supposed to be the scientist, and you couldn't even admit that. And as far as medicine goes, I could talk to you this about all day. But again, we do have a party to get to. This is not your field. You're not a doctor.
No, but I'm a scientist. Excuse me.
Yeah, that's not a doctor.
No, hold on.
That's not a doctor.
I'm a scientist who knows probability and statistics.
When I get a goiter on Uranus, I'll call you.
I'll link the full bit in the description box because basically it boils down to Neil deGrasse Tyson in a lot of ways like Alan Lichtman did the other day when he got mad with Jink and said it's blasphemy to disagree with me. Neil deGrasse Tyson would say something along the lines of I'm a scientist over and over and over again, and Bill would have to remind him, yeah, you're a scientist, not a damn doctor. Do you see where we're going with this? Do you see where we're going with this thinking? It boils down to one thing and one thing only. People not being able to accept any form of accountability. People not wanting to be honest about a situation. People not wanting to tell the actual honest to God truth. People who are being, how do I say, ideologically I'll put it this way here. It's almost like we've full-blown entered into bluefish swim with only bluefish stage. However, the reality that's known as a shark will eventually come and eat them at some point in time. And once again, these people will find a way to completely avoid any form of accountability. It's a problem that these people have. Even some of their smartest people, or people who claim they're smartest, cannot accept the reality of the situation, which now brings us back to the former DNC chair, Donna Brazile, or I like to call her Jarrell.
Issue to say we were wrong about immigration. We need to enforce our borders. The Democratic Party must get off of that position because it's fatal to them and it's wrong.
And look, and the Republican Party should not stop Democrats when they want to pass laws on immigration, which the Biden-Harris administration did from day one when they got in. When they want to cut a deal, as Republicans did with the Democrats earlier this year, and Donald Trump said, no, that's not what I want to prescribe. Look, we have many reasons. You ask 10 Democrats, you're going to get 12 answers of why we lost. I look at it in the long view. We lost for one simple reason. We didn't communicate to the American people. They didn't want us to lecture to them that he's an asshole, she's better. They wanted us to say, here's how we're going to change. And we didn't have that answer.
Okay, a lot of BS there. Number one, the immigration bill, we've already talked about this on several occasions. 6 Democrat senators voted against the damn bill. So they actually helped torpedo the bill that Donna Brazile is referencing there. As far as the communication issue is concerned, this right here is what the communication issue is in fact about. You got people out there like Kyle Kulinski, David Pakman, people who are on the much more left-wing fringe, who are really just Democrat sycophants at this point in time. These right here are people who are coming out here saying that Kamala Harris did not run a woke campaign for president. However, the problem is this here. All of her surrogates ran the woke nonsense. All of her surrogates ran the good old-fashioned race-baiting nonsense, the race-baiting crap. The same exact surrogates went out and basically said, white man bad. The same exact surrogates, by the way, are about to be on CNN because they're about to replace the employees that CNN is going to let go. MSDNC went out of their way to throw this type of crap in our face. You guys are seeing in the B-roll footage some of Joy Reid. Once again, the most hateful people in the world were the biggest campaign surrogates for that woman, and that right there is the reason why the United States of America, the American people, outright rejected her. We could say that it was them going out of their way not to have an open primary. We could say that we could say that they didn't want to have an open convention, all that type of stuff. We could say that they threw, as this guy here points out here in a second, we could say that they threw out this guy who was like 100 some odd years old, was president, was the current president. They tried to tell us that he was actually competent and fit to be president. You didn't give your voters a choice. But as I said before, their voters still would go out there and blindly vote for the Democratic Party nominee because guess what? Orange man bad, and people obviously got tired of it. But let's watch this segment.
The false thing was, that she ran a great campaign. She did not run a great campaign, and you're going to keep losing if you insist that she ran a great campaign.
I'm saying, there was no model for the campaign that she had to run. Look, on July 21st at 1:41 p.m. when Joe Biden announced that he was going to step down, Kamala Harris had to step up. Now, what other Democrat could have stepped up in that period of time?
We're not arguing about that.
All right.
We're arguing the campaign she ran. They asked her what she would do differently. She said, I can't think of anything. That's terrible.
How do we trust a party that was telling us with a straight face that Joe Biden could be president for 4 more years without any problem whatsoever? That's what the Democrats were telling us. It was a massive lie. We saw through it. Everyone saw through it.
Did you see him this week? Could you imagine if we were just starting on the next term? That was nuts.
Yep, absolutely 100% nuts. Democrats have an honesty problem. Of course, as we know, they're ultra dishonest. And of course, it's also going to hurt them long term because it looks like they're about to lose one of their biggest leverages of propaganda, that whether it be MSNBC. But we'll talk more about MSNBC on Tuesday. These people have got an issue with reality. They've got an issue with accountability. Quite frankly, these people, they do, in fact, need what it is that they don't want. Jesus. That right there, of course, may be a video at another day why it is these people are so rebellious against the truth. But still, at the same time, as you guys can see, it doesn't look to me like they're going to be giving it up anytime soon. Go back to Neil deGrasse Tyson's reaction, how he just laughed at Bill Maher when he pointed out the obvious. That's who these people are. Go back and look at Donna Brazile, Jarrell. Look at how she reacted when asked about the whole woke stuff. Somebody brings up a very, very good point, and obviously these people don't want to have a conversation on why it is that the agenda that they were pushing got outright rejected by the American people. But then again, as I said before, 74 some odd million Americans were still willing to go along with the woke BS and woke nonsense if it kept evil orange man away from the presidency. You're about to see a lot of conversations there on the left. Now, as far as me, as far as I'm covering them and how I'm going to do that, you guys will just have to wait and see come Wednesday when I let you guys know exactly how things are going to go come next year, because obviously there's a lot more things to talk about than politics, because let's face it, politics is boring and it does make you mean as hell. But it's still fun from time to time to point out the fallacies of these people. Make sure you guys please hit the like button, subscribe, share the video, sound off in the comment section, and I'll see you guys later.